Hello, I'm Rebecca of the Garden Gate Flower Company,
And I'm Grace of Grace Alexander Flowers.
and we've come together to create Stuart and Alexander Gather at the Garden Gate.
A podcast taking you behind the scenes of two gardens, what we've been up to inside, outside, and out and about. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am very well. It's now gone warm again, which is lovely.
Oh.
We're all back in October again for a moment.
I know. We had the really hot spell last weekend, and this week has been slowly getting better as the week's gone on, definitely. And I don't know what to wear every morning when I get out of bed. Oh my goodness. It's like it's 4 seasons in one day in Cornwall.
Yes, I know. I have to say, I was at work yesterday and I had a tweed jacket on, a cashmere jumper, and my boots back out, and I just thought, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway.
I think you just have to get cold at some point so that you just go, I've gone cold turkey. I'm putting it all away, and if I look like an absolute idiot, then so be it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, commit to the summer wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly. My goodness. I feel like I haven't spoken to you ages, but obviously we did have a little chat this morning, which has been quite nice because obviously we've been discussing Chelsea and our work that we're doing with crocus, which is so exciting. I am getting so excited now. I do have a list of things that I've got to do before I leave Cornwall on Sunday, which is officially an out for Becca.
Officially an out. We're going to be sharing the bejesus out of this because, yeah, it's so exciting for Becca to be out, but actually just Chelsea, really exciting. I'm really excited.
And also we have to mention, I suppose, I mean, it is obviously out there in the public, isn't it? But this is the last time that crocus are doing for the foreseeable, or never say never, but the last one for Chelsea. So I think in a way, this is the last hurrah.
Thank you so much to Crocus for the tickets. But it probably means it's going to be our last Chelsea too, which is very sad. But
yeah.
Unless someone else wants to give us top-notch tickets for next year.
I know, exactly. Although next year's just looking so busy, I'm not entirely sure I will be going out of Cornwall at this rate.
Oh, you're getting booked up?
Yeah, it's very busy, very busy. It's back to normal levels of wedding season next year, which is, thank goodness. I don't like it being too quiet. I get a bit bored.
Gosh, we have to get your planning all sorted then. Super organised.
Oh, absolutely. Shall I start with my out? Because actually that kind of leads really nicely in.
Oh, go on.
I'm going to segue. I'm going to segue to my out. My out. I've had a couple of options for out, but the big out for me with what I do is it was my first wedding of the year last week. And I know, and I thought about this about literally 2 minutes before coming on the podcast because I'm filled with planning in my household. I just thought, what really is my out? And I thought, actually, it was going out, loading the van with all these beautiful British flowers and taking them to a lovely venue not far from me called Cornish Teepee, which is just stunning. It really is. It's such a beautiful place. They've got a lake where you can swim. Oh, and do you know what? It is stunning. It's an old quarry and it's got these beautiful overhung trees and the light there is just phenomenal. And so as it would happen, we had summer for that weekend, didn't we, last weekend? So it was absolutely stunning. And the client had chosen to get married outside. Great tick winner. What a risk, but brilliant.
Well, brave at this time of year.
Brave, very, very brave, but was really, really lovely. And in going out, I also got to see my lovely photography friend, John Hersey, who you know I've worked with now for years and I absolutely adore him and his work. He's always such fun to work with. Yeah, he was on my first wedding, which was that moment when you look at the job sheet and you go, oh, this is nice, this is lovely, it's fun. But then on my way home, it's very close to St. Kew Highway Farm Shop. I love a farm shop. So this is
love a farm shop.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a nice little farm shop actually. It's got really lovely food and they've got flowers there as well and beautiful veg, but also sort of like all those lovely jars of things, which I always just think in my grown-up world, or I feel like I'm kind of walking into Nigella Lawson's sort of store cupboard when I go in there.
That is a good farm shop. Then.
Yeah, no, it really is. There's quite a lot of Italian items in there, which kind of I always get a bit excited about. I know. I find it
Link
hard.
that in the show notes. I want to come and visit.
I know. It's slightly hard to justify for me because having 2 boys that eat a lot, I want that world when they've moved out because, or one has to eat all that sort of food in the car on the way home before you have to share it.
Where is it from you?
It's over towards Weybridge. It's St. Kew. So it's really beautiful. It's not far at all, really. And actually, it's really nice because from there you go past Trelawney Garden Centre on the way home. So it's a really nice, of course, if you go to Trelawney Garden Centre, you're not far to go up the hill out of sort of Weybridge and to St. Kew and go to the farm shop. They do actually have a lot of indoor plants of their own. They've got a small, very small selection of outdoor plants, very small. And a really nice little cafe, very nice little cafe. And I had a bruschetta with the most beautiful, colourful tomatoes.
Lovely.
And a really decent cup of tea as well. So I have to, a big shout out to them because actually it was one of those where you just go, this was just what I needed on my way home after my first wedding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm always interested in good places around you for when we come down for our holiday.
Oh, and you could take the dogs.
Planning. Oh, even better.
Yeah, you can take the
even
dogs.
Better.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take that one and pick it up and give you my out.
Go on then.
Which is I can't ever go to a garden centre ever again.
Oh no, what did you do?
So I had my first. I know I can share. So for those who don't know, I am in the certification period for becoming organic, and I had my inspection this week.
Oh yeah, of course.
Very lovely, beautiful lady called Angela came. She loved the house. She had the tour of the cottage before she had the tour of the garden, I think. And every so often she'd say, this bleached lime tree that's still in its pot, when did you buy that? And I'd say, 6 weeks ago. And she'd say, it's not organic though, isn't it? And I was like, oh my God. I had to know, and I've written lots over the last few months about tulips, and I'm now a closed system, so I'll probably never be able to buy tulips ever again because it's very hard. You can't get organic tulip bulbs, even from organic bulbs. And,
oh my goodness.
And I suddenly thought, that's it. Unless I make a big application, fill in a form, I cannot just
for a derogation
into a garden centre, pick up a plant and bring it home.
No.
I just can't.
No. That's quite a transformation, isn't it?
It's quite a... I knew it on lots of levels, and I will confess that last year I bought quite a lot of stuff knowing this was going to happen.
Oh, you're so funny.
So hence the reason I've got 600 Dom Pedro tulips in massive containers, because I thought
it is a very strange one, though, isn't it? I don't know how I feel about that in that sort of... I mean, I get it. I think it's great. But yeah, there is a restriction. There is quite huge restrictions, isn't there? I mean, what's great is that you will have to get really good at taking cuttings, propagating, dividing, lift and dividing. Or you're going to have to get cozy with somebody else that's got a organic garden. Oh my God, that's what you need to do. You need to start pimping yourself out there to other organic gardens for swapsies.
That's like a whole new business.
I do feel like you all should be wearing Adrian Mole glasses and like all nerds or something. Sorry, that's really mean. I've just seen your face. It's Becca, you're going to have to edit that out. But it's like the group that's not allowed to go out. They have to just stay inside together.
Yeah, they have to read the back of packets before they eat anything. Yeah, I've become that person. I've become that person. Yes, it was really interesting, and it was really lovely to have somebody, an expert in organic growing, come round. And she's very local to me, so it was super chill and very relaxed and stuff. But I'm just getting my head around the whole thing. Although one of the reasons why I'm super committed to it is partly just to say that there isn't actually, if you want to buy organic cut flower seed, you can't really. There's a couple of things. Vital Seeds do a couple, Tamar Organics do a couple, but there's no one who is really producing interesting stuff like the stuff that we would like to grow.
I 100% I agree with you, because when I started Garden Gate, I started it with Tamar Organic Seed. Is Jackers Herb Farm organic? Certified organic? Jackers?
I don't know.
I seem to...
Becca?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Ooh, good question. I feel like she should be, but she might not be.
Yeah, so I just remember, because obviously that was a really big thing for us, because we were certified organic farmers. We did put in organic seed. It is very restrictive. Tamar Organic Seed, though, is lovely, I will say. It is really, really nice. But what's what sadly has happened is back then, 14 years ago, that was okay because there wasn't lots and lots of varieties. So Tamar, you could use it and not feel like you were missing out. Now the issue is quite, as you've highlighted, trends, and I don't like to use the word trends, but I think things have evolved and there are varieties, colour varieties that are maybe a little bit more refined, or to some people it obviously would be lovely, but that sort of industry-led colour hasn't evolved in the Tamar organic world, has it?
No one's doing organic phlox creme brulee, are they?
No. So are you going to do
Not
that?
that's the be-all end-all. Well, actually, technically, I think phlox creme brulee has got Thompson & Morgan breeders' rights on it, I think. So that moment of organic phlox might still be a way away.
It's going to be really interesting, because is that what you would like to do, is really almost have a proper certified organic seed available?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's exactly what I want to do. Yeah.
You heard it here first on Stuart Alexander?
You heard it first. Unless you remember Gather, in which case I've been talking about it for a while. But yeah, so I would like to be the first biodynamic, in fact, as well as organic. So that's organic certification plus another year. Biodynamic, probably primarily sweet peas, because
you love them.
The room to do everything that I want to do. So, and sweet peas are amazing and brilliant for saving your own seed from. If you haven't already, please do. Yeah, so I would like to be really doing scale. Like, I'm never going to be not Sarah Raven.
I don't think you can be, probably, and I don't know. I may stand corrected, but yeah, I don't think that's the be all and end all, is it? It's just being able to feel like you've got that variety or that niche is quite good in itself, isn't it?
And to be doing it in a way that I really believe in a way that I've grown, as I'm sure you do, chemical free.
Oh yeah.
For years and years and years and years and years. I haven't used anything that would be considered by the Soil Association
as a no-go.
Yes, although when they walk around and sort of say, so that Melcourt silver grow, and I go, God, I never even thought. You know, there's a bag of compost around the corner, and oh God, this is awkward. So
yeah.
It is fibre only from me.
What stage is that then, Grace? Have you still got a while to go? How far in?
Yes, so I'm only very much in the conversion process. So I am 3 months into a 2-year cycle.
Yes.
And so I won't actually be able to say, I'm not allowed to say the word organic or put the Soil Association logo on anything until January the 28th, 2026. If that's not commitment, I don't know what is. So.
Yeah, well done though. Well done for it. I do believe in it, and I still think it is. Like I said, when we were doing it on the farm, it was really wonderful. But it is hard. It's hard. We found it hard. The work versus what people wanted versus what people were prepared to pay as well, which is a challenge. But then this was 14 years ago. I think things have changed a lot now. Our mindset is different to what it was back then as well.
I think it is. And Angela, my inspector, told me all sorts of horror stories about all sorts of people who were using the word organic without actually being organic or certified or anything. And they wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't worth something. And I think that is an indicator of that people do, especially when you look at what's coming into our water and into our rivers and being pumped into the sea. I think people are more and more aware of just spraying stuff on plants and gardens and fields and then watching it run off into our water courses. We can't carry on like that. We just can't.
No.
So,
no. It really
so money
really
where
can't.
my mouth is, I'm going for it.
Oh, well done, Grace. That is really exciting. So that's just your out.
That's my out, because we walked around the garden a lot and looked at things. And although she did do the tour of the cottage as well, she's very excited about the cottage. Told me about all the famous people she'd inspected, which I won't repeat in a terribly,
So we can share that when we catch up at the weekend. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah.
My out has been getting all my dahlias out.
Goodness.
They're out. I say they're out. I have done them in phases this year, because what is amazing with a dahlia is you can literally put them all in a pot to start them all off, all at the same time, all in the same environment, all with the same treatment. And the difference is phenomenal, isn't it, between one pot and another pot?
Yeah.
I've done everything possible to keep the slugs off them. And I will say my mum's done a really good job keeping the slugs off them, because bless her, she was the one that I literally stole her greenhouse, which makes me laugh because Arthur Parkinson's done the same with his neighbour. by the sounds of it when I've been following him on Instagram. Her entire greenhouse is taken over by, I don't know how many pots of dahlias, but there is a lot. So I've got the majority of them out now. I do wait for them to be pretty bushy and can stand up to a little bit of slug damage if they go out into the field. And I think that is the key. Whilst they might be able to go out because they've got one nice shoot coming off, I just would say, how many slugs have you got? Weigh up the sort of the risk. And in doing what I've done, which I've done them in rows, and then I've done 3 varieties on each row. So sometimes one has been planted with 2 gaps, waiting for those other ones to come on. The advantage as well has been, how have those first lot fared? The strolch has been really good. That has worked really, really well. But just, yeah, the slugs, as we have always said at the moment, I think a number of times on our podcast this year, the slugs this year have been particularly bad because it's been so wet.
My sweet peas that went out weeks ago, they look awful. I'm refusing to be cowed by this, and keep saying to myself, they'll be fine, they'll be fine, they'll be fine, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But oh my days, they look very, 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 very sad indeed.
They just get sliced, don't they? On the sweet peas, they almost just slice them, don't they? They don't even. Yeah. It's it's horrible. But
I've got
touch
a couple
wood.
in the perennial beds. I had some when I was weeding. I found lots of sort of the crowns of plants that were just, every time they grow, they were just being munched. So I dug them up and put them in pots in the greenhouse. Got a thalictrum that just is growing like the clappers now because I've given it a break from these just horrendous slugs.
It's nature's wonderful way of pinching plants, that's for sure.
I think there's quite a few things that are just never going to make it out of the ground at this rate.
But, no. Yeah. So I've got those out. I've got more to go out, and the big planting out is going to happen. So it won't be next week, but the week after. I'm holding my nerve and not too worried about it. I've got them in fairly decent pots. The moment they hit the ground, they will romp away. But it's certainly a lot later planting out this year than it has been in previous years for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to put mine out because mine have really checked. So they've been in pots in the greenhouse and they sprouted brilliantly. I remember we talked a couple of episodes ago about should I take cuttings, and I was just saying they sprouted really well, grew on. I was thrilled with them, and I thought they'd keep up. They don't look like they've moved for a month now, so I'm just going to get them in the ground. Usually that means your compost is a bit poor and they've have nutrition and stuff like that, but so I'm just going to get them in the ground and they can just take what they've got and they can go for it.
Also, a bit of a liquid feed before you do it is always not a bad idea if you're really struggling.
If I've got an organic liquid feed, you mean?
You have to have an organic liquid feed. I have an organic liquid feed. There are organic liquid feeds
The
out
seaweed
there.
stuff is great.
The seaweed stuff is very, very good. So, Grace, what have you been doing inside?
Well, I've had COVID, so I wasn't particularly ill, I will confess. I had a couple of days of a bit headachy and needed a bit of paracetamol, but I was fine. But it did mean that I was confined to barracks and I had to spend a lot of my time working from home and going back to those early days of not really being able to go anywhere or go out. And I've been thinking a lot about compromise and how, I don't know about you, but there's lots and lots of things, particularly because we're mid-renovation of number 3, of just things that I put up with in the house that aren't perfect, like chairs that don't quite fit under the table, or just there's a bit of wall that's falling down in the bedroom. It's just silly little things. And I thought, I am going to balance my out with my in this summer. And I know you said the other day, isn't it really difficult to be inside when the weather's outside and you just feel guilty? And I do feel guilty. I feel constantly guilty. But I'm going to override the guilt, and I'm going to really make an effort with the house. So my first step is I'm going to get in touch with Italia Ellis. Do you know Cassandra? What? The paint company?
No, I don't know. No.
Oh.
How do I not know a paint company?
How do you not know a paint company? And they're in Bath. They've moved to Bath. So Cassandra Ellis is just wonderful.
Mm.
So I've been thinking about this for ages, but the first step, it's always like my life is like Towers of Hanoi. You've got to move one thing, to move another thing, to move another thing to get the first thing that you wanted to do done, is to redo the studio, which it's finished the year we got married. So 2017, it's embarrassing, I can remember where I got married, but it's a couple of years old. It's the shed at the end of the garden where I run most of my seed company from. and it just needs a real spruce up, and I want it to be super special. So I'm going to get in touch with Talia Ellis. Not gifted. I don't want anything gifted. I just want advice and then some paint, which I will pay for. But I just want someone with a really lovely eye to just give me a colour palette, really, and then really make it special.
Yeah,
I think that's what
nice.
this year is going to be for me, is just, rather than just living with things that are just a bit crummy and a bit not very satisfactory, it's just really putting the effort in to make things special. So I have spent a lot of time on Pinterest.
Yeah, my home's really important to me. And I think that's exactly it, is that I think, like we said, it does shift, and my home definitely suffers when the weather comes out and I do less. But I do think you come back to it in the evening and a nice space is just relaxing, or it's motivational. It's whatever you want, whatever you need from it, really. But yeah, I mean, having done my kitchen, was it last year we finished our kitchen? Yeah, I think it was. I love our kitchen. The only problem about renovating a room or a particular part of the house, and I don't know whether, I'm sure people will relate to this who listen, it makes the rest of it seem. Do you know what I mean?
I knew you were going to say that.
I just like literally, we have got the most loveliest of kitchens now. I love it. But the sitting room now looks a little bit. We don't have a door between the two. And I really want to actually carry on almost the worktops, controversially, through the kitchen and into the sitting room, the back wall.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, because, yeah, I really like the idea of it. Like, it's a sort of, you can see it and it blends across. So it will become more of a different sort of use, obviously, at the back. But I really like that idea of it being seamlessly sort of working from one room to another. And now I hate that area so much. It's become a dumping ground, which it never was before we did our kitchen. And don't even get me started on our bedroom. So our bedroom, we have 3 floors. Whenever we clean the house, we start at the bottom. And my advice to anybody is start at the top, because you never get to the top otherwise. Yeah, my house is massively.
Or at least alternate which round.
Yeah, exactly. You could alternate. But given that we've got dogs, you always find time to do downstairs. You just sack off upstairs, don't you? But my inn, I really don't have an inn other than maybe stirring off your inn, which is pretty much that. Is I do relate. I do relate to the need to focus a little bit more and and strike the balance, because I do have a habit of going gung ho outside and don't strike a particularly good balance. I mean, I could be outside till 7 o'clock. And then suddenly everything's all late inside, which is a bit.
My dogs don't let me do that. So
no.
I put the down tools and walk them at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. And I think now, like you said, a bit of a sort of a moment of going, there's a boundary. This is what I'm going to do, is not a bad thing.
You can borrow my inn if you like, and you can help me decide what paint colour to do my studio in, because that's your talent.
Yes, that is my background. Yeah, my background was interiors and pattern and stuff, which actually, I have to say, I love a bit of wallpaper at the moment. Can't do it because most of my house is very old, like yours, so it doesn't lend itself well to wallpaper. But I have got a really tight, small hallway corridor up to the attic where our bedroom is. And it ends up being double height because of the staircase. And I really, really, really want to put it in entirety in wallpaper. So it's this transitional room that's nothing, but it's just so special. I love the fact that there's nothing. It's a staircase going up to the attic. But wouldn't that be amazing if it was?
What would you have?
I am a bit of a fan of the old William Morris. I would go heavy. Yeah, I am a bit of a fan of the old William Morris. And I think that's the thing, is that, again, I would probably lean towards that, or Sanderson, something that is probably not trend-led, but just has that sort of, it's got to relate to the house still a little bit. It's
come across Flora Roberts.
No.
I will link her also, because the proudest moments of my life, actually, is she is a painter, and she does these incredible patterns on wallpaper. And last year, at exactly this time of year, she put a shout out on Instagram if anyone had any peonies. And I took her a bucket of my coral charm peonies, and my coral charm peonies exist.
No. In her wallpaper. Oh, I love that. Ooh,
honestly,
maybe
one of the
that's
proudest moments of my life.
Oh my goodness. Because the other person who we did see last year at Chelsea, we saw her print was Molly Mahone, the printmaker.
Molly Mahon, I think.
Oh, Molly
Mahon.
Mahon.
Mahon, I think.
Is that how you pronounce? Yeah.
I think it's Mahon.
Sorry, Molly, if you're listening to this, that I've got your surname wrong. But anyway, lovely block printing.
Beautiful.
And do you remember we were in the greenhouse and they had, I'm not even going to say that greenhouse's name because I'm never going to own one of those, but those beautiful cushions, and she had those florist vases block printed on it, on a cushion.
And the bench. It was an Alitex greenhouse.
I wasn't going to say it.
No, I'm going to say it because in the off chance that Alitex want to sponsor this podcast
wouldn't that be a
and or give me a greenhouse or anything. We sat there on that bench for such a long time. They brought us champagne, but nobody offered us a greenhouse. Which is
I'd have taken the bench, quite frankly, and the cushion.
We did have a long conversation about where the bench came from, but it was somewhere like Norfolk or something awful. It was a huge piece of furniture.
She'd found it in a vintage shop, hadn't she? She told us. Yeah, I think I quizzed her. I just said
I hate it when people say that.
Yeah, I know. But it was lovely. But her again. Molly's work is absolutely beautiful. If you're into wallpapers and that sort of thing, that lovely vessel, those beautiful, it just looks beautiful. I really like it. I don't know if I could wallpaper. I'd either go William Morris or go something like a block print. So
yeah, nice.
But inevitably, what will happen is I shall spend another 7 years going, why haven't we done this?
And this is exactly what I'm trying to get past is that when we had the thatch redone 3.5 years ago, when the thatcher screwed a batten in, a bit of our ceiling fell in the bedroom, and we were like, oh my God, don't touch it because literally the whole thing will come in. So we haven't touched it. So I've still got a hole in the bedroom ceiling. And we just think this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I'm going to stop putting up with things like that. So, but lime
that's really nice.
Are an arm and a leg. So yeah.
Another bit of lime plaster.
Yes, the lime plaster is quite something too, but yes.
Yeah, I know, that's really
He was late for
beautiful.
an appointment, so he brought me a bunch of flowers. And I thought, my gosh, nobody ever buys me flowers for obvious reasons. But
that's so sweet.
Zachary, his name is Zachary, turning up with a bunch of flowers. I couldn't go and take them off him because I had COVID at the time, which is a missed opportunity for all sorts of things. But anyway.
So what did you do out? Because I think I did my out, but you didn't tell me. What have you been doing? Or was that your walking around?
I haven't done an out. Can I have a sick note for my out? What with being off with COVID and stuff, I haven't really had an out. I'm just
gonna literally mark that up because Grace Alexander I never trump anything to do with being out than you, my lovely. So,
well, I've got lots of them stacked up. So tomorrow night, I'm going to the Lido in Bristol restaurant, which I'm very excited about. It's my husband's two best friends, which is going to be very lovely. I did that sort of thing. Oh my God, Friday, end of working week. Do we have to? It's such a long way, and the dogs and etc. And I thought, just pull yourself
go and
Grace.
enjoy it. Yeah. Well, we're going out for dinner tomorrow night as well because my eldest child turns 18.
As a child, if he's also an adult.
I know, it's a very funny one, really, isn't it? Because he's just finishing off college and assignments and things like that. And I've managed to just have one more day of having to, slightly parent him in that sort of, no, you can't go off for the morning because you're better at doing your assignments in the afternoon. You have to start it now. And we did laugh at the fact that I've got one more day of doing that. And then when he turns 18, really. And he did say to me, he said, so that's it. When I turn 18, you can't tell me what to do. Well, if you are living with me, I do still get to tell you what you can do. But
unless he's paying rent, in which case changes the dynamic again.
He's not going to start paying rent. He's saving up to go. He's saving up to go to New Zealand, so he's not paying any rent right now. So we've got a bit of a celebratory weekend. So we've got 8. Yeah. So I'm basically going from having a party tomorrow. It's tomorrow night, isn't it? Friday. When it comes out, we'll have done all this. And then up to see you on Sunday. And should we tell everybody what we're about up to? I'm not sure when this one's going to come out. Are we going to get this one out soon?
I'm going to try and get this one out.
We're recording now episode 8, which hopefully is going to go out before we leave on Sunday. And then I'm meeting you on the train.
Yes.
Please make sure we're on the same train. You have made sure that our trains connect and they are together.
I got a very big piece of paper and I had to write all the times on it of the time it left you, got to me, left me, got to London, and then do it all
Okay.
going backwards. And yes, it took me it took me longer than it should have done, but I did make sure we're on the same trains. But you have to move seats because we're in first class from Taunton to London.
I just think that's hilarious. I'm quite relieved that you didn't pay for first class, because I don't think there is such a thing as first class in Cornwall. I'm not entirely sure I've ever seen a first class carriage, but I think that's wonderful. So I will skulk off the train and back on the train, or walk down the train somewhere to wherever first class is supposed to be. I don't know. And so that's really exciting. So we're going to head up on Sunday. I'm leaving in the afternoon. And we're
Sunday
going to
afternoon,
do, and we're going to do a little recording from our flat in London, which will air, which we're planning to air on the Monday the Monday that we are there of Chelsea. So we will do Chelsea in the day, but, and we will remind you guys, the listeners, you will be able to follow along on our Instagram and see what we're doing on Monday whilst we're at the flower show.
Yes,
that's right, isn't it?
So we're going to. So when I came home from Beltane, I was meant to stop in with you, and we were going to do just a little interview with each other about how our journeys into this world, really, and our backgrounds and our histories. And when I said that, people were really thrilled and very excited about it. And then, of course, I was too exhausted and I just couldn't do anything. So we didn't do it. So we're going to have a very small bottle of champagne, maybe a half bottle, in our flat in London on the Sunday night, and we're just going to chat and record it. So if you have any questions or anything you want us to talk about, just drop us a message. And then on the actual Monday when we're at the show, we'll just be doing lots of recordings of people we meet and things that we see. And then that will be hopefully out on Tuesday.
So that's Tuesday.
Really, and I've turned it round.
And then after Tuesday, we're just going to have a 10-day break, aren't we? I think that's the plan, is just to, because pretty much that will be season 1. 10 episodes done.
Yeah.
And it's doing quite well.
We could not be more thrilled with the reaction and the response from everybody. When I got an email saying that we were, I don't know, I think we got to 31st in the podcast chart or something. I was just amazing. Couldn't believe it. So much fun.
I know, it is. So hopefully we'll be drawing, I don't know, what do we call this? Season 1, spring, I suppose. But then we'll be coming back after a little bit of a break. And then we'll be starting with the next season, and hopefully people will be able to message in, and it'll be nice to find out what people are enjoying. And if they do want to leave a review, it's always nice to leave a review, but only if you want to leave a 5-star review. I don't like negativity. So, please, if you don't like it, just don't come back. Please, because Becca can't cope with it. She just can't cope with it.
No, I tell you what, running an online business as a sort of an entrepreneur is brutal. Yeah,
it really is. It really is. It really is. Feel free. I don't mind whatsoever. Just don't leave a review. But just that sounds so desperate, doesn't it? But it's like we just need positive stuff in the world. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But listen, thank you to everyone that's listened in so far. Like I said, really looking forward to the last hurrah of this season. And I really can't wait to see you on Sunday, Grace. Please make sure you keep an eye out for me. Don't leave me on a platform.
No, basically don't get off the train if you're at all worried that I'm not going to find you. We'll find each other on the train if we need to whilst in motion.
Okay, I'll do that. Yes, that's great. I don't know where I'm supposed to... Actually, it's a good point. You haven't told me what carriage I'm supposed to be in for first class. You've got my tickets, but you haven't shared. Okay, so you need to share that, because at the moment, I only have my second class ticket.
No, I sent you them both. Oh, no, did I not?
No, you didn't.
You're right. I've sent you 2 because I've sent you there and back, but I haven't sent you. No, it's fine. I think first class is either at the front or the back. I can't remember.
Oh, surely I'll know. Surely I'll know. I'll find you. You'll be the one sprawled out with champagne in your hand, will you?
Yeah, I was going to say, follow the smell of champagne and
you'll find you. Yeah.
I've massively overestimated how good first class is going to be. But yeah, it's not economy on a plane, is it?
I know,
it's
exactly.
It's a gesture.
We'll get that free cup of tea. That'll be brilliant. And a biscuit. I know you get a biscuit. Anyway, listen, hilarious. It's lovely chatting to you.
Can't wait.
Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you everyone for listening in, and we will speak to you all and
see you very soon.